Okay. We're going to open the Selectmen's meeting of December 3rd. Open session public meetings are subject to being videotaped. Your image and voice may be recorded. We have a poll hearing. If you'd like to come up. So I guess I'll read this. The Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Monday, December 3rd at 7:10 at the Berlin Town Office Building, 23 Linden Street, to act on the petition of National Grid to erect and maintain poles and wires together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as it may find necessary. Said poles to be erected substantially in accordance with the plan filed with the Selectmen's office marked Sawyer Hill Estates, located on Sawyer Hill Road, Berlin, Mass., in accordance with National Grid Work Request Number 270857784, dated October 8th, 2018. And
there were a couple changes that were revised.
Yes.
I did bring the revision.
Okay. Has this been updated on your website also, or is this the only place it's been updated?
The updates were done a while back, and I think when they grabbed the original, I had to accommodate for the bend in the road, so I had to put a stub pole on the other side to anchor the pole back so it doesn't fall over.
Okay. And are we...
Thank you.
You've done all of the butter stuff?
Yes.
All right, you have things...
Actually, no, I do the abutter stuff using the map in the description that they'd previously given, so this would be a change from what the abutters expect.
Right, so... I guess I'm looking for direction on whether to proceed. Just want to make sure.
Did you change the location?
I added a stub pole across the street of pole 36, which was needed.
I don't know if this widens the circle of abutters much, or...
No, it's actually in line with everything else. And the other pole is in front of Sawyer Hill Estates, which I could either put it on their property or on the town property. It'd just be easier to do it this way since we're already here.
I don't see it. I don't even know.
It's just,
I can't rule on it. I mean, that's
yeah,
not
I
the
know.
place.
It's just
Sawyer Hill Estates is
minor
not,
change.
it's individual property, and I'm lot 1, and it looks like there's a bunch of trees that you're looking to cut down, and I didn't sign off on anything. No one has approached me about any of that.
That's lot
You know,
one.
they asked my mother for permission to cut down trees.
Do you want to look at this plan?
I think she has one similar in her hand.
She has
I have
the,
Yes,
the
do you have-
original.
Yep.
Oh, it says, so is this, that's the original, this is the updated?
this is the updated. The only difference was that pole there and the pole that's gonna go in front of the driveway at Sawyer Hill, which is gonna feed these lots.
So where are the trees that are being cut down on your piece?
The only trees that are gonna be cut down is in the roadway on the
Well,
sidewalk.
actually, 2 of them are that are marked are in the stone wall, so I'm not sure why they're thought that they're in the way of putting up the poles.
We need 10 feet of clearance between the primary wire. That way there's no encroachment, and in case something does come down, it doesn't reflect your power. It's more for
Well,
reliability.
it's not gonna be my power. But the stone wall is already degraded there. I can't imagine what's gonna happen if you're trying to take trees down that are going up through the stone wall.
I don't believe they're gonna take down anything from the stone wall.
The trees are growing up through the stone wall.
Oh, they are? Okay, I didn't. I'm
The
not that
forester
person.
came and talked to our mom, who's 94.
Okay.
And I said, did you take her down to show her the trees? No. Does she know where the trees are? No. She thought she had no choice about signing off on the order to take down the trees,
Okay.
which just doesn't seem right.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
That's,
she's deaf and half blind, and she
The-
didn't know what she was signing.
the tree part of it is not on me. I'm sorry, I can't answer those questions.
Do you want to go over this plan with us? Go ahead, sit down. Or does anyone have any questions?
Well, obviously, we have an issue.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
We have an abutter here with an issue.
Yes.
With the placement due to the trees in question.
And you said you are on the project.
This was
But-
my design.
Your
Yeah,
design.
but you
Okay.
wouldn't be in charge of the trees.
The forestry division is not me. I just design it according to the standards in order to give power to 151 Sawyer Hill Road.
Okay. I'm just wondering if it's possible to adjust the design to not take the trees in question, or
There really is
no other place to put it.
no other, you can only put the poles in certain areas, and that is a very wooded area, which makes it even more difficult. The trimming of the trees is just to provide power to,
Okay. So it's not taking them down, it's just trimming them?
for the most part, correct.
We were told that these 2 trees are coming down. Actually, there's 3 trees, but I could only find markers on 2.
Who told you they were coming down?
The forester.
This is the National Grid
National Grid's
Forester.
who was lovely, but we really can't quite figure out what's going on, because she talked to Mom.
I can ask questions to her tomorrow,
Yes.
and then
Okay.
I can report to you without.
And so that you can be in contact with Ellie?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because Ellie is
Okay.
the owner of both those parcels.
Which parcel is?
The big one and then the lot one.
The
Those are
lot
hers.
1 here is mine.
Well, and you and Kathy have.
Yeah, and Kathy and I have this 159.
So,
This whole
Let's
piece
make sure
here
that this is the same thing.
is me.
well, it's showing that they have a house going here. that's-
There's no house going in there. I own that,
Okay,
but
okay,
there's no house going in there.
okay. I can,
So
from
what
the
drawing
plans
does
that I
she
was
have?
given, that's what was shown.
I'm sure it was,
They
but
have
that's
moved the
not the
poles.
plans.
Okay.
Right.
I can,
And
I
so
can.
this is the
look
updated
at
one.
that
She got
tomorrow
one in the
and figure
mail
out-
The
as an
only
abutter.
house, the
Or
first
as
house
an
is gonna
owner.
be this lot 2.
I think she'd just like a little more input on what's going on with the.
No, that's fine. I can,
Yeah.
I can definitely look into it tomorrow. I can't answer her questions.
Yeah.
Do we want to
Done.
sort this out and then come back next week?
Absolutely.
So we can continue this hearing?
I don't know if you want to have that reviewed. I don't know if the assessors should look at that to see if that causes any different abutters to be notified. And if the assessors say that that it affects the abutters list, then you probably want to renotice this.
Well, we could do that on our end,
Right.
and, Just-
Well,
Maybe the
if it-
abutters would like a copy of the
right,
new.
Sounds great. Thank you.
okay.
So you
I
find
can
out
ask.
on your end, we'll find out on our end,
Right.
and
Will do.
if we don't
Continue.
have to notify next week, otherwise if we have to notify again, then.
Okay,
Right,
awesome.
all right,
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank
Jeff, do
you.
you have a card?
Thanks.
I don't have any. I can leave you my number. though.
Yeah, would you please?
Thanks, guys.
Can I take that plan?
You can have mine.
Okay,
Or do you want to hang on?
thank you.
Oh, you have one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
So you probably should just go ahead and continue that to next week.
Yes,
Okay.
so we'll continue
Time
the
certain?
hearing to, yeah, what does the agenda look like?
You have no appointments, so 7:10?
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a couple of minutes. We have first the contract with Colonial Power, 2018 to 21, for consulting services.
Do you want to just bundle that with the rest of the Energy Committee stuff?
Mm,
You can. Number 9.
And approve the Green Community's annual report. You want to
You want to do that now?
come up? We got a few minutes anyway to do at least part of it.
Okay. So Colonial Energy is just a continuation of the contract that was in place, I believe, starting in 2013. The services that they provide to us is through the municipal aggregation program. So they will handle the customer service portion of switching customers, handling customer complaints, queries, whatever, additional to any aggregation that we do in the future. With that will now be 40 months from now, so we won't have a lot of that. Most part, it's the customer service. The cost is borne by a percentage of the kilowatt hours that are billed through them, 1/10 of 1 cent per kilowatt hours. So I would recommend that you continue their services.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay. Is there anything else? Anything else anybody wants to add? Okay. Then we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's 2 originals of that,
These two, correct?
right?
Yeah. So
The whole board.
Yep.
one of those I actually. So there's 2 documents that you're, I believe, going to be looking at for the green communities. The first of which is our actual 2018 report, which was submitted effective today. The takeaway from that I would give to you is that we continue to make progress in 2 areas. In the building, specifically oil and electricity. We're losing an equal amount of ground against the vehicles. So we're essentially treading water. So until we get our vehicle use and consumption on a same trajectory as our buildings, we're not going to hit our 20%. We thought we were actually at 20%, but we got a kind of a disappointing call this afternoon saying that there was a problem with the reporting, that we're actually about at 7% off our baseline. Baseline year was 2011, so we've been working for about 7 years, and we've taken about a percentage off a year. This building, for example, we've actually improved by 30%. The school is about flat, so we have some opportunities there. With all the gains that we've made in this particular building have been offset by the vehicle increases. Some of the contributing factors of that is the Council on Aging bus, which started in late 2016, early 2017. There's been, hold on, I got some numbers here. Highway is pretty flat. These are all normalized, not using gallons. It's using MBBTUs, millions of British thermal units. But highway is up slightly. Fire and rescue is up pretty dramatically. Police is up pretty heavily. And then on top of that, you have Council on Aging. So to give you an idea, in these units, we needed to take our total energy down by about 2,100 MBBTUs, okay? The increase from our baseline just in vehicles is 1,100. So to get to 20%, we have to not only do that 2,100, but now we need to do 1,100 more. So right now, we've done a good job with our electricity, just to kind of summarize. We've done a good job with oil. We've weatherized pretty well. We have opportunities at the school. We're going to get a hit next year because the town, the barn, is going to be starting to hit our electrical. We can offset some of that on our reports because the square footage changes, so we can kind of take 4%, 4 times off. But we need to really focus on our cars. Just a message I would send to you.
Yeah. Smaller, electric.
Lighter alternative. If we want to get to meet our green community standards, that's what we have to do.
Okay.
Okay. I can go into gory details, but I won't. But I'll just show you this is the good. So I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but you can see our electric has been generally on a downward trend across here. Okay. You can see our oil has also been going down. You can see a big drop at the end here. That's because of the biomass boiler at the school,
Mm.
which you can also see pick up over here because those are now wood pellets. Okay. Now this is the negative trend. So diesel was going like this. This big spike in here, 2015, Snowmageddon. Dave and Keith were out plowing all the time, so they used a lot of gas for that. You can actually see these two huge spikes here. That's February and March. Okay, this is our gasoline consumption, and you can see for the first, this is 2012, 13, 14, 15. We had a spike again. The police cruisers are out because of Snowmageddon, but then from 2016 on, we've been on a pretty substantial upward trend. Okay.
Do you have any idea what's causing it?
Increased patrol activity because of changes in the dynamics of the town. You have increased calls for the fire department. There are seasonal things like we were talking before. The amount of snow directly impacts mostly our diesel. You have the Council on Aging bus,
Yeah.
and you also have, my understanding is there's increased mutual aid that our trucks have been going out, and I think all those are contributing factors. I'm strictly focused on the energy side of it, but there's a cost obviously associated with it too. More gas consumption and, diesel fuel and gasoline fuel is.
So if we could have an electric car, and we're currently running a F-350,
So I think that, and I don't mean to imply, I'm on the one extreme, okay? I'm the ultimate in the efficiency side. If I could get a Prius to plow snow, I'd be all over that, but I don't think Dave would really be down with that, okay?
I don't want to ride along that. No,
But-
out there. No, just put that out there.
But on maybe not the other side, you've also got department heads, chiefs. They're looking for maximum capability, right? So the answer is probably somewhere in between.
Compromise, yeah.
Compromising.
Is it in adding to the fleet?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah.
We've been adding to the fleet. There's more vehicles. I think it's more the usage of the vehicles, just the way we're,
Yeah.
Because one of the primary drivers, if you look at who are the biggest consumers of fuel, it's police and fire. And what are we gonna say? You can't drive,
Right.
you can't patrol, you
Buy
can't.
electric vehicles that
So
you're replacing.
if you can take some of those, BAU type of visits, business as usual, sorry, I'm using my corporate speak, and you can put them in a more efficient vehicle. If you could, I don't know if this is something that, Dave could talk to, but if
Even
you
if-
could have an F-150 rather than an F-350, that would help me. Whether it helped him or not, that's not my place to say.
And we know what's coming up for capital planning for all the vehicles, correct? Ish,
Theoretically, it's,
in theory.
yeah. But it just means we have to pay attention to this when we're buying new things. We have to look and pay attention.
Well, a lot of times too, I think over the years, when we had the old FAC, it was not adding to the fleet, it was replacing. And we tried very hard to replace instead of add to the fleet. And I don't know that we're still doing that.
Well, there's needs,
Yes.
we've changed, the
Needs to
community has
change.
changed,
It does,
so.
it does
I mean,
make a difference.
Those numbers are before Highland Commons was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's increased.
And the other thing is, I'm not doing a business case behind this. I'm just telling you the trajectory. There could be a really excellent reason that you had those extra vehicles, and you could be saving the town money on the long run. But from my perspective, in my limited view from the energy, I don't
Well,
see that or
right, that's your
need to,
purview.
really. Right,
Right.
right. So that all I'm advocating for is that we look at a conscious optimization of our
Mhm.
vehicle fleet. So that's the Green Energy Committee, or annual report.
Right.
That's the gist of it. Some of the other highlights that are in there, we talked about the solar bylaw revision, the past annual town meeting in there. That's to potentially add another one, so that's reported. Street lamps are in there. Street lamps are not going to make a gigantic difference to this. They're a relatively small piece of the pie, but we discussed it. Also in there is the municipal aggregation regarding our decision to go to a green energy producer, so that's something that they care about.
Mhm.
We will be going through a review. Kelly's already talked to me about it. There's some of those things that we'll probably be issuing a revision on some of these because the way we're accounting for things isn't the best practice anymore. But in general, the report that you have in front of you is consistent with what we've been doing. which
And,
is-
and you didn't have anyone from your committee that made any changes or suggested
No.
any changes?
No.
I didn't see.
No,
Anything
it was
come back?
crickets. I got a great job. Thanks for doing that, and that was about it. So,
Yeah.
if there is nothing stopping us from issuing a revision. We did last year.
Right.
So,
Right.
by submitting today and with your signature, this will make us eligible for the 2019 community grant proposal. This is the first time in 3 years, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, because of all the issues. with
Yeah.
the,
Which is my
HVAC.
segue to the other document. The other document
Okay.
is the closeout of the 2016 reports. What you're
Mhm.
going to find in there are a lot of pictures of insulation. So it's scintillating stuff, but we blew foam insulation into the school in lots of places. It was very important. It closed off a lot of leaks, insects, ice dams, all those things, but it's not really, must-see TV. The other part is the retro commissioning reports,
Mhm.
okay, and that was they went through all the buildings and looked for opportunities. Probably the single greatest benefit we got out of that, in my opinion, was a listing of the mechanical systems, its useful age versus its current age, which showed that, with the exception of our boilers, everything is over. So one of the things we put in that report to DORs, we've talked to you, we've talked to capital planning, we're trying to get a long-term plan for replacing it, so they'd like to see that. And then the last piece on there was the building analytics. That was completely ripped out and replaced by Guardian Energy on their own expense. That is working, we understand it, we've had training on that. We're ready to close that out. So there's a total of 5 projects that are comprised in that report. Again, it's been reviewed. We have pictures. Kelly walked these. Kelly attended the training, so we anticipate that this will finally close.
Okay.
So that's my update to you.
And do you have anything that you're thinking about in the future for FY19?
Well, not necessarily FY19, but I should give you a quick street lamp update. Actually, I can go there too. So first on the street lamps, we've been bundled in with, I think it was 6 other communities all over the Commonwealth. Leicester is one of them, Newburyport. So they put about 8,000 lights together. The bid opening for our installation crew is December 17th. So 2 weeks, plus or minus, we'll have our crew. I will need, at very short order, authorization to start procurement on the materials. So I'm going to be getting a list of exactly what is in there. Technically, we don't have to do the whole procurement process because that's why we have MAPC. That's why we did all this. But I need your authorization to disperse the funds to order the material. So fiscal 2019. One of the things that I would recommend as to put in for the grant is a certified building operator training. So that would be, it's I think a week-long course, 8 hours a day, one slot for the school, one slot for the rest of the community. The purpose behind that is how to interpret the data that's coming off of our building analytics and what to do with it and kind of to understand the material. Highly recommended by both DOER as well as I think it would be a good use of our time. So that's one of them. Potentially charging stations. The chief is already, has a Chevy Volt. We would like to encourage the use of additional electric vehicles. So that's another area, if it is supported this year, which the indications are that we would do something like that. We have a proposal to retrofit the school lighting again, this time to LED. That's going to be, we're going to have to look at the business case behind that because going from fluorescent to LED, there is an advantage, but it's not like going from incandescent to an LED. It's not that huge. So we'll look at that. We may submit it anyway. DOER doesn't have to pick it up. That's their choice, but that's what we have. We haven't really talked about this in the Energy Committee yet, but I know that Greg is looking at some energy demand mitigation. So when you're a large consumer of energy, you pay more when everybody else wants it. So he's looking at some potentially potential storage solutions. That's what he does for a living, so he's kind of looking at to try to smooth out the demand loads and save the town some money. That's on the table. And obviously, we'll be looking at any kind of weather sealing, or there's still some opportunities for that in the school and to a lesser extent here.
Have you guys talked about solar for the highway barn?
We have talked about it. The Green Communities Program doesn't necessarily support it, but that would be something that we'd like to investigate. We'd like to stage it. Ideally, we have talked about that.
Stage it meaning?
So the original request was this huge array, right? And it had a huge price tag associated with it, and people balked at it. And maybe that's something that town meeting might not be willing to stomach. But if you can put it into, again, like a 5-year type of plan where you have a modular type of arrangement where maybe you build 1/5 of this large array on year 1 and, second, fifth, and 2, and finally you get across 5 years. That's something we've talked about. There are costs associated with that. When you do it all at once, you get better prices.
Right.
But there is also the possibility that with the continuing erosion in the prices, that maybe by staggering it out, you could make up for that.
Later on the agenda, we do have to talk about legislators, and
Right.
and I was going to suggest that maybe that be something that we put out there for the legislators to.
Yeah, my
Look for
understanding
money.
is that it did get put on the last bond bill, but the bond bills don't necessarily get funded. So
Right.
if we could get that funded, that would be
You
tremendous.
need it actually in the budget to be guaranteed to get it.
Yeah.
Say that again?
You need it to be in the budget in order to get it. The
Yeah.
bond bills are,
And my understanding is there are some of those items that have been on bond bills for decades, and they just
Yeah.
never make
Keep
it.
moving.
In some respects, that may actually complicate things for us because
Well, that's why I asked if you'd talked about it.
we have. I mean, if suddenly it came in, we would look foolish, asking for it at pieces of it at town meeting. But if we have no guarantees that this is going to come in within the next decade, well, then it might actually make sense for us to do that, or maybe we can have some kind of
and then
reimbursement.
there's also, I don't think that was necessarily for the town barn. I don't think it's specified, so you could potentially put it elsewhere.
It has to be on a roof.
We got a roof.
So,
Well,
We
I
got a
mean,
school roof.
I brought the paper from our legislative list, but I'll look at that later. But I
Well-
thought it was for the roof of the highway barn, or something to park, like a truck or so under it.
we had a lot of interpretation on that would comply
Mhm.
with that, but the actual language of it was
On the roof.
pretty much, it just
Right.
needed to be supported by something. So
Right.
we've talked about the existing highway barn, talking to Joe H.U., is that we would need structural modifications in order to do that
For the,
for a roof-mounted solar
Yeah.
array. David, keep me honest. Another potential alternative, which has benefits to the town and also increased costs associated with it. You may have seen it like REI down by me in Framingham, where they have the platform mounted that you park vehicles underneath
Mm.
it. That is more expensive to build,
yes.
but it has an added benefit of also in additional square footage of weather protected for vehicle storage equipment. So that is another option. That's outside of our purview. We don't care the structure, which way we go. We're just trying to do this.
Mhm.
So that would be all scenarios we have. I know Amy has looked at different alternatives, but she has indicated in our meetings that the construction costs associated with the parking deck type of thing is dramatically more than. But you have to offset that with structural changes to the building too. So I honestly don't know how the numbers would come out.
Right.
So, to Lisa's point too about we have roofs. This roof, you wouldn't want to put it on here right now until you replace
You have to
it.
replace the roof first.
So that's dollar figures associated
Generally, you
with
don't want
That's-
to put
isn't that this year,
anything
though?
on a roof that's not,
It's
I
either
don't
this year
know.
or next year. I think that's
So
on capital
you
planning.
want it on a good roof.
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
They won't even put it on an old.
Well, they'll put it on, somebody will put it on whatever you
School.
want.
Yeah, they put it on whatever
School
you
roof
want
is
it to
not
pay.
exactly
Yeah.
That's not so new
spring
anymore
chicken either. So, anyway, I'm babbling now.
All right, so you would like us to take a
I would-
motion to,
I would like you to sign those
Move
documents,
to
please.
sign the documents.
Oh, seconded, sorry.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Looks like you have to sign two.
Just the one. As the preparer.
All right, well, why don't I just let you sign it? and-
Okay, he's gonna already been there.
I think there's two originals.
Could be. Nope.
Okay.
Not flagged.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.
You owe me a Coke.
What's that?
Because we said at the same time, you owe me a Coke.
Oh, that's a rule? Whose rule is that? I'll get
Dennis,
you a
help me
Coke.
out. When
I'll
you
get
say
you a
something
Coke.
at the same time, you say you owe me a Coke.
That was another expression.
We're on
So-
camera,
Right.
it's a Coke.
Signature of Chief Executive Officer? Me?
That's you. No, it actually says it in there, the select board chair.
That's you.
I'm just looking at the flags here. And that's not, so I only had
There are like
two
five
places
in
to
there.
sign?
There was only two documents.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, and I think that one's all set then. All right, Dennis.
Howdy, howdy.
That's a very big folder you have there.
Getting old. I just wanted to bring you up to date on where we're at on the, looking at the costs of medical plans. I've talked to consultants and brokers, both. There's a few things that have changed too. The deadline isn't tight anymore because Mr. Conroy has chosen to offer one plan, the Tohoto plan or the region plan, to Boylston and Bolton, Berlin.
Bolton.
And he's, yeah, and he's fairly certain that they're gonna take the plan.
Okay.
So I'm going by that word. So that takes a little pressure off trying to get the rates in February,
December.
December, which is still pretty early when you think about it, because the plans start July 1st. So there's pros and cons for both. The brokers do ask you to sign an exclusive agreement, and they work off of a commission. So it makes you wonder sometimes where their loyalties are and how they really want to keep the prices down. The consultants, on the other hand, and they'll stay away from the GIC because they don't get anything out of it. There's one broker that would help us stay with Maya as part of that. But they have these kind of gray financial arrangements when that happens. The brokers run between $5,000 and $25,000, depending on what you want to have them do. And they'll all negotiate the price. So that's something to think about. There are towns that are moving to the GIC. You're familiar with the GIC, it's the state plan. But today there's a big thing going around on the internet with the group. How do you get out of the GIC? Who's done it and why did you get out? So I'm following that. So basically the recommendation is, for me, is to have the brokers do their thing and come in and talk to the IAC in December. And one of the things that should happen at a little higher level is there are some, I think Dover was one of them, Northborough, Southborough, have pooled and are with the school, and it gets you over that 100. And when I talked to them, they didn't seem too interested in doing that.
Meaning
But
the school
if
wasn't
there's-
interested?
What's that?
Meaning the school wasn't
The
interested?
region, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like it would be that big of a deal to throw
20,
us on
30
there.
people in,
It's-
yeah.
Yeah, and from Boylston also.
Mm.
So it would put them over the 100, and then we could find out what's driving some of these costs, which we've become a real small group now.
Right.
So even the pools that are out there, a couple of the brokers said, this is going to be tough, why aren't you staying with Maya? You know, so they're kind of sending a signal. The Canadian drug and all the different options haven't finalized yet, so it would be gambling on something that may or may not happen. So that's where we're at. The other thing to remember is Maya doesn't do the risking. They do consulting through Cabot Risk. So if something doesn't come out of all this, or something that the committee chooses that we're a little suspicious about, we could have Cabot Risk do it, and they'll do it for nothing, because they're doing it for us for Meyer as it is.
Okay.
And that's it. We'll probably set the rates in February, because you have the MMA meeting for Maya, and we want to give them a shot at matching a plan if the IAC comes up with something different, or the brokers come up with something a little bit better.
So the next step is to have the IAC meet and,
Have the brokers come in and have a 15-minute, this is a rough idea of what we'd propose to try to save money, and see what the group wants to do.
okay.
And we know what they're gonna do, there's different things.
What about the consultants?
I think I'd hold off until next year. One consultant wants to do it now. Another one says wait till the spring and see what comes out of the proposals. And they'll look at the plan and kind of shoot holes in it, or tell you if it's a good plan or not. And I did put in the request that there at least be a pool amount, because some of these don't have pool amounts, and you have one bad case, it can really get into that yo-yo, 14, 15%, and the next year 9%. We've been down that road before. And we don't want first year, maybe second year, cheap, and then,
And that's my concern, is that the
Yeah.
broker's gonna say, hey,
right.
$20, you want a medical plan?
Yep,
And then
and the
next
consultants
year-
have no,
Correct, consultants are in it for the long haul.
exactly.
Right.
Yep. And I did find out that a lot of towns have them come in every couple of years. And they do more than just medical. They're starting to manage Cobra, and, you know, they're trying to get a little bit of money doing some other personnel type things. But that's what I'd recommend.
Can we also just pursue and make sure that the schools are off the table, because that would probably be an ideal solution, because it bumps us up into a bigger pool.
Yeah, the only concern I have with that, and you're right, and we could talk about it with him, is we've been trying to move towards the Cadillac tax elimination, and would have to make sure that that would be Mr. Conroy's.
On their radar.
Yeah.
But you may
Because-
also balance out, because the pool is so much larger, you may balance out with costs too.
Yep. And you also need to be aware that some people are thinking how inexpensive benefits are gonna become now that people have left. But we all know the back door being assessed from the schools. It's
Right.
gonna be in there.
Right.
And
Unless
the
you're
other,
adding Boylston to it too,
yep.
the town of Boylston.
The other thing is, what, I was gonna ask your feelings on retiree benefits. Yeah, there's between 7 and 9 communities now in the whole state that don't have it. And
I think it would be easier to do a lesser plan if you were giving something in return, and I know that retirement benefits are of interest.
right, if the net, that's what we were looking for on the, if somebody comes up with this super plan and it saves a ton of money, you know, it kind of keep us in line with the region.
What are the?
And it makes us a more appealing place to work.
Right, now that you've got professionals coming in and out-of-town folks. It's a two-edged sword, though. If they retire too early, they're gonna keep the expensive plan, and we're picking up minimal 15%. If they get to their 65, then because the government's picking up a lot of the drug costs now for Medicare, it cuts the cost down to about 400. I think our plan is 389 per person. And if you cut that in half and pick up 50%, that becomes really affordable, if there's such a thing, but it's a lot less than the old days when it was thousands of dollars a month. And then the rules you put in, you have to be here 10 years, do you have to,
Right.
no
Right.
retro, any of that stuff. But then you do have to start saving for it too. The GASB, which we don't do right now because we don't have it. So it's just something to think about. But I told them to at least think about it, put it in the proposal if there's an offset to it, and see what even you folks think about it when we
Okay.
talk about it.
Well, with the consulting costs, I mean, you mentioned that the brokers were really one extreme to the other, 5 to 25. What about the consultants? Ish.
The consultants will do it for whatever you can fit into your budget. They're as hungry as the
$5.
brokers.
$5.
The brokers aren't going to charge anything. I have one broker who will charge, but that's just half of his proposal. He says he'll do it. He really doesn't want to. But he's also the one that seems to have been the most honest about, well, maybe Maya might be a good option for you, which we already know. So,
Well, I think that was the whole point, is just to see if Maya was giving the best deal, or if faced with a, hey, we're gonna leave, do all of a sudden they say, $10 for your medical, give you 10. I mean, that was kind of like the whole decision behind it, to start looking around.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that the IAC is reluctant to change the benefits because they're great benefits, they're rich. But they just don't see the total costs and the Cadillac tax, which some of the brokers and some of the consultants feel might happen. And others said, but you don't know with the way things are going out there with Obamacare and Trump and all that stuff. Will it get kicked down the road another couple of years? Will it be eliminated?
Yeah.
But
So brokers are more year over year, or consultants are more, excuse me, a little bit longer range?
yeah, brokers will tweak it for you every year if you want, and there still won't be a charge.
Yeah.
The consultants will charge you every year or every other year. And if it was at the region level, it would be pretty affordable in my eyes, but it's not a waste of taxpayer money, as we've been led to believe, to pay a consultant to come in.
Right.
Providing it's in the lower end. I wouldn't pay $25,000. So we can figure it out ourselves.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of deciding, do we do that now? Or do it in the spring once we know what's going on, and have Cabot Risk come up with an alternative.
Are we gonna meet with the IAC first?
I'm gonna email after tonight's meeting and
Okay.
say, this is what the brokers would like to do. They don't mind standing out in another room while each one comes in and makes a presentation.
Right.
And then revisit it early in the spring when the Maya rates are out and their vendors can quote them too.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And all of them are gonna propose pet insurance. So if your pet gets sick,
It's big.
it's huge.
You don't realize how big
Oh,
that is.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
And they also have a
Yes,
lot
I do.
of free things like the employee pays 100%, but you take it out of their paycheck, eye care, that kind of thing that a lot of companies are doing, a lot of municipalities, so that's it.
All right.
I also wanted to just mention that I've interviewed a few candidates for assistant treasurer, and I think I've made my decision on which one to go with, which is
Okay.
sad, as you know, because of the quality and
There were two good candidates, correct?
what's that?
There were good candidates to pick from.
This is the toughest. Even when I
Yes.
ran the paper, I never had it this tough.
Yeah,
But I think the deciding thing, and I don't know if you sat in on one of them.
I did.
It may not last long-term because of opportunities that are coming down the road. And I've just gone through hell the last couple of months with Kate gone. You don't
Yeah.
realize, what 2 part-time days are.
Right.
So I think I'm gonna go with a person who's been a treasurer collector for over 18, 20 years, in a large town, in a small town, has seen it all. May not have key punch skills because they were up here for a while, but they're very familiar with all the rules and how towns work
Okay.
in small cities. So I'm ready to do the next step.
All right.
Do you want to review the resumes, or?
You, I believe you need to just let us know when and if, we can appoint.
Yep.
And
Do you want them to come in?
I don't know if you're comfortable, if you want to.
If Dennis is happy, Dennis is the one who has to work with this individual, and
Yeah,
So
it's-
really, it would just be an appointment.
It's a lucky catch, put it that way, because there's a shortage of treasurer collectors, and, you're probably aware of a lot of positions now. It's getting harder and harder to find people that know how to do it without lots of training.
Right.
But, all right,
Well, good luck.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Dennis.
Take care.
Moving on to the bill schedule for the 1870 Town Hall Historical Curatorial Building, $412.93, and I think that is,
don't even say it.
What?
Because if you're saying that's the last one, then
oh, no,
don't
it's
even
not
say
the
it.
last
Okay.
one. It's not the last one, no. I forget what he said. I read what it was for, and now I can't remember, but it was for the things to finish the part of the things to finish the curatorial building. So, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we know how many more bills there are going to be? Ish.
It's
Uh,
infinite.
Great.
This is the curatorial building, this is not the 1870 Town Hall elevator.
See, you wrote that so that I knew how to spell curatorial in my notes.
Yes,
didn't
I
you?
did.
That's what I figured. Thanks. Thanks. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that.
As I wrote it, I'm thinking,
Yeah, yeah.
that's why she wrote Town Hall
I
building.
did, because I didn't know how to spell it.
Alrighty. All right. So, next thing we need to do is we took a vote on 1029, and now we're talking about a 5-member board. So we need to revise the vote of 1029 to rename the Earthworks Board Advisory Committee to Earthworks Advisory Committee. Increase the membership from 3 to 5 members with terms expiring annually at 5/31. With expanded membership comprised of the building inspector, 2 selectmen selected appointees, 1 member each from the Board of Health and the Conservation Commission. And so,
Have we heard from Board of Health or Conservation?
no, she sent out something, I believe.
I know. I was just wondering if we'd heard anything.
No, I should have asked Paul when he was sitting right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Board of Health was invited, because initially they weren't on the list, so until you revise it, I don't think Board of Health has been asked to, have they?
I thought you sent out an email.
Maybe I
Talked about it last week, but-
Yeah.
didn't ask for the webmaster to put anything up or anything like that.
No.
because you guys hadn't voted it.
Right.
But maybe I'm confusing it because you launched 2 committees at the same time.
Right.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All right. For all of those things, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We never voted to adopt the Personnel Committee recommendations for FY '20. Grade, step, and salary increases. So,
Motion to approve.
Could I
Seconded.
speak on,
sure.
is it possible?
Oh, sure.
Uh-oh, here he comes.
Here I come.
Da-da.
So-
We get the motion and the second, and now's the conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
So part of this is probably my fault for not knowing proper procedure and not asking enough questions maybe. I did some rough numbers here for the boys. I'll give you a copy of this here. Copy. Like you have one for Mary. So if, the procedure for the reviews, to me, isn't really acceptable, because on this form, there is no place to put any type of step increase for the employee at my level. All I did was a review on it, and it was sent off to a committee, and there was no feedback to me before it was presented to you. So I think there's something missing in that circle, first of all. The COLA adjustment that was voted on and is coming forth, in my opinion, isn't really a raise. It's an adjustment.
The COLA.
Correct. A raise is a step or a grade adjustment for an employee.
Right.
So it seems like that step has been bypassed, in my opinion. So just to reflect on, if you go back a few years, and I went back to the records that I have, take me back to 2015, Jim and Fred have not had a step increase since 2015. So I don't know if that's, very acceptable in my opinion. Tom had a step increase last year. He must have been good. And Brian, his job description, he's not even in the correct classification if you look at the licenses that he holds and the talents that he has. So if there's, if we're not going to use a classification chart and a step on an annual or semi-annual or some type of basis, then why do we have it? I know you've heard me say this many times before. The town is very fortunate to have these guys. They're outstanding. Trust me, I've worked with other people. And you should really take note of that fact and in my opinion, reward them accordingly. And before this is voted on, I would hope that you could review this and, reward the guys the way I think they should be rewarded. And this reflects what, in my opinion, where they should be.
Okay. I know that Personnel, who's a new board this year, had, I read over their letter that they sent to us back a few weeks ago, and they had, I think, recommended COLAs for some and adjustments for others. They didn't do both for everyone, and they felt as though that most of the people, not everyone, is where they should be in comparison to other towns and that kind of thing. If you'd like, I would suggest to the board that perhaps we maybe approve the personnel grade and step recommendations, excluding highway for now.
I would like that, very much.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Yep.
All right. And then we'll take a look. Have you talked with personnel at
No.
all? Okay.
I was kind of blindsided. To be honest with you, didn't know this was going to take place tonight.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, it's been like on the table for a while, but we
Correct.
just never
Yeah, and-
voted to approve it.
You know what, adjustments tend to be made even after this is approved, so, I mean.
Okay, once again, I don't know proper procedure because...
Yeah, I don't know if it's proper procedure, I just know that if people come in and advocate and
Right.
have good reasons,
Okay,
Change
I just
it.
wanted to get this
Then
before it
we
went
can-
too far and we
Right.
couldn't go back, that's all.
Right, that's fine.
Okay.
No,
That's
that's
fine.
that's good that you came forward.
That's it, that's all I have.
thank you for advocating for your people.
You're
Yes.
welcome, they deserve it, they really are a good crew, so.
I know.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dave. So we had a motion on the table and a second. Do we want to revise it to just leave out highway at this point, or?
We can do that and have personnel revisit, based on Dave's feedback or whatever we want to do.
So you're saying yes?
Yeah.
Okay. there was one other thing, I guess, before we vote. We need to determine, or we guess we could leave this out too, the building inspector, because they have 3%.
And I know that Lisa and I had both emailed, like on top of each other, to tell them that it was a different amount, so I didn't know if they,
You didn't email who?
no,
Yeah,
we emailed.
yeah.
No, so there was,
Personnel should
Oh,
be
you
aware of
emailed,
this.
yes, you emailed personnel.
yes, to
I saw that.
confirm. She confirmed and then I confirmed on top, so.
But I don't know that they did not intend to do both. They did not intend to do the COLA and the
No, it was supposed to be 3.5
Correct,
total.
correct.
total.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Personnel actually sent an email during this meeting that the board hasn't had a chance to see.
Who sent it?
Claire.
Oh,
But that was my understanding too, was 3.5
correct,
total.
1.
Right. Okay.
Dave, do you want us to put you in touch with Claire, or will you reach out to Claire and?
However you would like me to handle it.
I could send Claire an email. Or
You
can
want-
you send
can
her
you?
an email?
I can connect the two of you with this document.
And,
say
yeah,
that you'd
so
like
gonna
to be
say-
reconsidered, you know,
And then
you.
you'll meet with
ask for an
her?
appointment.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
You can meet on what, Tuesdays, Wednesdays?
I don't know.
They have a set fee?
See you, Jim.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Is it posted?
Yes, I've seen it go whizzing by several times.
Okay.
All
Just
right.
don't know which night.
Is it anything we need that would be concerning? Did you look at the email?
I don't have the email.
Oh, okay. Oh, you've got the email. What was this concerning, Mary?
She's just shaking her head. She's printing.
Oh, because Lisa, you didn't get it.
She sent it to all of us or just you?
Nope, to everyone, but omitted Lisa. I'm not sure if that was by mistake.
Oh, you could just email it. I have my computer right here.
So Roger, how old? And where did the cupcakes go? I leave the room and the cupcakes are gone. Oh. How old? 25 again?
Yeah,
There you go.
in reverse.
In reverse.
You wouldn't admit to
62.
that.
Thank you, Miss Mary.
Not quite reverse.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure that this has anything to do with this, really. I think that we've already made the decision. Am I correct?
Yep.
All right. So we made the motion to leave out highway and to change it to 3.5 for the building inspector. I think that was the only real issue as I went through this weekend. So if that's the motion and the second, then we'll go move to a vote. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alrighty. And we have not done final votes on,
So you voted the personnel spreadsheet?
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
Okay.
Minus the highway.
minus the highway with the change for the building inspector. So we need to finalize or take a final vote on the administrative secretary, the building inspector, the treasurer, collector, or the collector, I should say, and the accountant.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All right. Hang on a second to see if I have any.
Do you have them? Because I don't have any of them.
I have yours. I have
Joe's that I sent round.
I have Joe's. I do not have Dennis's though. You had given those 3 to personnel
Along with June's.
and
Correct.
June's.
Yeah.
And so do we need to get copies back so that she can put them in the file.
Okay.
But I think we were good with Dennis's and June's, and then if we vote these 2, because I don't know whether, I don't even know if we signed it, the Dennis and the June one.
No,
No,
I
no.
know I signed June's.
Oh, okay. Right,
She and I met.
okay. So we need.
None of them are signed?
No. And we need, is there a place to sign it even? Oh yeah, back here. All right, so, do I hear a motion to approve these? I did tell you that I put that additional information on the end of Joe's.
Mhm.
Okay? So, motion to approve? We
already
didn't,
Did, I just did.
Oh,
said
okay, I
motion
didn't
to
hear you.
approve a while ago.
and you said second?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And today is 3rd. And it's the year 18, correct? I did not fill in the part where it says salary, grade, and step, but we just voted the personnel sheet, so I can either do that once the meeting's over, or,
Or can we just ask the personnel committee to go through and ensure on everyone's review that it's there, so it's consistent? Or if Mary gets them and files them, if you could just take a quick gander and see if everyone has it, just so it's uniform.
I think I just signed under the employee on yours, Mary. I'll just put a little arrow. So I only had those 2. All right. So when we get them back, then we can put a signature on Dennis's, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess we have one budget to approve. Memorial Day?
Right.
Woohoo! And it is an increase of $100.
You wanna speak?
Huh?
You
Want
gonna
to speak to it?
Tell us why?
Well, I think you did
I
explain
did, I
that.
explained it.
Yeah, but he's here. And
You're
he's
on camera.
never
Okay.
in front of the camera.
Here, you want to look at it?
He's like, never again.
Well, last year, the cost of the spending was $2,176. That was an increase of flags and grave markers, and the flowers and the band stayed about the same, but that's where the major increase is. So, well, I can cut it back a little bit, that's why I only asked for $1,000. I mean, $100.
Ooh.
Wow.
$100.
I think there's a Freudian slip. Back that tape and we'll find out what you asked for.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Seconded. Look at that, you're the only one
We
on
just like to give you a hard time.
I figured I would be the first one.
You
That was-
are.
That was an easy one, though.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Aye. Thanks, Mr. Bradley.
No problem.
All righty. 2019 license renewals.
I'd wait till the end.
All right,
It's a
well,
sea of signatures.
do you want to,
I already signed them.
oh,
Yeah,
did you?
she did.
I did.
Well, you want,
I came in and she was like a mad woman.
Just
All
vote
right.
them, then sign
Yeah,
them
I
after.
mean-
so
as
do
long
I,
as
why don't
the-
we just make the motion to approve and
Yeah, motion to approve.
Yeah, seconded.
all in favor?
Yeah,
Aye.
Aye.
because you
Alright.
still have these to sign over here, so if you just want to put them in the pile.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you sign those too?
No.
All right.
Lisa beat me to it, she hogged them. I only signed these.
All right, where are we here? Approve the Maya Property and Liability and Workers' Comp Renewal Intention Letter for...
I put that in there, but if she's coming Wednesday, why don't we hold that a week?
Yeah?
Joanne is
Yeah.
coming on Wednesday. There's no harm in waiting on that.
All right, I didn't know if there was a deadline of any kind.
I'd hold it.
All right, so is that all right with you two?
Yeah, for next Monday?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that right there then. And we approved the Green Communities Annual Report. Review the message to town departments soliciting any FY20 legislative requests. And as I was looking through the thing that we put together, the, whatever it is on Google, the only thing I saw was the solar. I don't know if there's anything else.
You could put something on for the Bullard House.
Oh, that's true.
You could put something on for the library, depending on which direction you go there.
The recreation trail, wellness
For the
trail.
wellness trail.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Mhm.
Good for you.
I can spend money, not a problem.
You can-
Especially if somebody else is gonna give it to me and we don't have to like take it from ours. I'm like, I can totally do that.
There's a quiet nod from the audience.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
You can take those down, Mary, and we're,
I have them down, but that was a message that I would
Yes.
send to department heads. Do you
Then
want
we
that
can
to be sent?
solicit. Yeah. They
yeah,
can
we
send
can.
back,
We
yeah.
can solicit from
I just wanna
that.
make sure that we do sort of prioritize when we send them out this time. And
Okay.
maybe we wanna, yeah.
So do you want that to maybe with a Thursday deadline? I mean, is that too fast? And then you guys can look at it either the 10th or the 17th before it goes back?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want- What deadline do you want to give to people to respond?
Give it on Thursday, and
Okay.
if it's not
Yeah.
in, then it's not in, and we prioritize what
I'll
we
send it
have.
out tonight.
Right. But those three are good ideas. 4, 3 that you had suggested, and then the one I said. All right. Okay, we're gonna need to discuss the specifications for town administrator. You
Yeah.
had given me something.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Is this mine or yours? I think mine is somewhere else.
Wait, why don't you take that, it's right there.
Okay.
I accepted some of the changes that Mary recommended. One of the things that is really not up for discussion is it is actually right in our special act that we will have a screening committee.
Ah.
So there are no, we don't decide that, that's actually mandated.
Okay.
But other than that, this is very, very close to both Wayland and Sudbury, and my thought is because it's standard, they're gonna have a pretty standard package because they've seen this before,
Okay.
and they are gonna drive the process when we hire them, so.
All right.
And I changed the dates to make it work. And I'll email that over to Mary after we approve it.
Okay. So, I'll make a motion to approve.
Alrighty. Just a second.
That was a second?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else to be said? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And,
All right.
while we're on this topic, Jeff Zangi did say that he would be happy to serve on the screening committee.
Okay.
So I'd like to get that rolling if possible. Jeff Zangi, Scott Hawkins, and Chief Galvin, if those are agreeable for.
Those people are
just
interested,
to
all
start.
three of
Yeah,
them?
all three of them are interested.
What size committee did we talk about?
They typically recommend no more than 5 to 7, so it really depends on what you guys want to do. But that's a good start.
Okay. Do we want, I think we need to advertise. And then we can do the appointments after we get some response. Sound good?
Agreed, yes.
Okay. All right.
I got
Fire-
nothing.
Fire and EMS?
Well,
Okay.
I ripped off Truro, which is probably a good way to go.
Okay.
But I didn't tinker with it because it wouldn't let me copy and paste it in Steel. So I
Oh,
would have to mess
Is
around.
is this a PDF?
Yeah, it is.
Because we do have, Tom Galvin has Adobe, which should be able to break this.
Yeah, and James Wheeler tomorrow. He's in.
Okay.
I just was
Yeah.
up to my knees in permits today.
Because I mean,
licenses.
it's a pain in the butt to take
No, I would never
as
retype
evidence
this.
by, I cut and pasted, but it takes all the formatting out. Which is annoying.
If you want, I can get this ready for next Monday. I stayed until Friday at 3 in the morning doing those permits and licenses. Well, because liquor deadline was Friday, so I
Right.
had to.
Yeah, do you want to put this back on for Monday?
next week, yeah.
All right.
And I've already let the folks know that I went out a little bit out of order. They all giggled and just said, let them know when
They
it's
don't
ready.
care.
Yep.
They didn't seem bothered by it.
Well,
Okay.
they're all similar. They're gonna get this and they're gonna send that package and
Right.
Well, and that's what,
then come in and try to convince us.
what's her name? Kim?
Craven.
Thank you. Said that she was part of some committee and would receive it anyways, so. Okay.
All right. I think we sort of, we already sort of talked about the health insurance consultant broker services.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was gonna go here, but that's.
Yeah. And I did want to touch base with you all on the treasure collector search.
I actually have some thoughts. I think that with a TA coming in and doing a search and with a fire chief coming in and doing a search, I would like to keep Dennis on.
Boy, you're reading my mind.
Because I think that's too much.
I think so
All at
too.
once.
However, I don't know if we're required to
That's-
advertise and then,
Well, you advertise for a day and then take it right down.
Well, I'm not sure, do we have to advertise if we have somebody in the position? That's, I guess, I don't know.
I don't know
So,
either.
I'm told that's a personnel.
Yeah. I mean, I know where I work, even though you have a preferred candidate, they make you go through the motion.
Right. And that's what I figured we might have to do.
Yep.
I did actually ask Dennis if he was planning to apply, and he said yes.
Yeah.
So, do we need to look into then what process we need to follow for this? And put that on for next week and see if there's some follow-up we need to do? All right.
Because that's a heck of a lot of staff change.
I know. And I'm just a little overwhelmed by all the searches. I don't know about you guys. All right. Other new business. Old business. Selectmen liaison updates.
I wasn't around last week.
True.
I don't have anything.
Well, and you're not gonna give us an update on the warm climate that you visited?
Never should've got on that plane to come home.
Could've
called in.
Just making sure I didn't have anything. And I sent you the changes to that coffee talk thing.
Yes, I will get that done.
Okay.
Yeah, and I looked, and I don't think we have to go into any further detail since I filled Paula in about like the fire bond and that.
Okay.
If people have questions, really, the fire chief should be the one like
Answering, agreed.
that.
All right. I believe if we don't have anything further, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye.